我こそはノスリ。女子供に矢を射るとは、もののふの風上にもおけん悪辣非道な連中よ。姫殿下に代わって成敗してくれる。
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Briareos Kerensky and welcome to the review of Utawarerumono Futari No Hakuoro, the latest and probably last, at least for a while, chapter in what is now the Utawarerumono trilogy. Futari no Hakuoro picks up immediately after the end of Itsubari no Kamen. Burai staged a coup d'etat against Anju, poisoning her and blaming Oshitoru. Haku rescued Oshitoru, who battled Burai but perished due to his sister Nekone interfering with the fight. Oshitoru passed his mask to Haku, who faked his own death and started posing as Oshitoru in order to put Anju back on the throne, currently in exile in Ennakamui. Kwon left the party in shock of losing Haku. Futari no Hakuoro has a lot of pick-up from Itsubari no Kamen, which left several plot threads hanging as a clear introduction to this third chapter. I'm happy to say that Futari succeeds in closing every single plot line, even those that were thrown into Itsubari no Kamen for no apparent reason. Of all these plot lines, there are ones that feel tackled on for no good reason, but let's go over what happens during the game with a brief story recap. As I've read this review, no new anime series has been confirmed. You might want to skip ahead if you want to avoid spoilers if the anime ever happens. The game starts with Kwon awakening in Tuskuru with no memory of what happened. She soon remembers and leaves her family to rejoin the others, only to be stopped by Aruru and Kamyu. She decides to don the crown of the ruler of Tuskuru and moves to help Ennakamui. At Ennakamui, Haku, posing as Oshitoru, is busy organizing defenses and planning how to retake the throne. Anju is still suffering from air poisoning, and she is unable to speak. Burai is still alive and tended back to health by Entua, daughter of one of the Uzurusha commanders that attack Yamato in Itsubari no Kamen, to exact revenge for her dead father. This subplot does put an end to Entua's storyline, but it's the one point I was referring to as tackled on. It plays a small part in the overall narrative and doesn't connect to anything else if not for a short, forgettable glimpse after the end. The Kopompo attacks Ennakamui, but the invasion is thwarted by Haku in a rather gruesome way. Maror is at the scene, and shocked by who he thinks is Oshitoru, leaves the scene completely broken. Mikazuchi enters the fray, forcing Haku to the brink, where he uses the power of Oshitoru's mask to transform into the same giant that defeated Burai. Mikazuchi leaves, acknowledging Haku as Oshitoru. Kwon returns to Ennakamui, healing Anju. Soon after, Tuskuru officials visit Ennakamui to pledge their help to Anju's cause, but not before the two rulers have a fight. Anju receives Karura's sword and joins the battle. Munechika, which was held captive by Tuskuru, makes her return without her mask.
姫殿下。不将、この宗近、ただいま御前に戻りました。
Haku, seeking allies, visits Rurutie's homeland. Rurutie's older sister is against having her in battle, but yields after Haku and Rurutie defeat her in battle. Burai makes his move, using Nekone as bait. Haku, resorting to the mask's power, defeat him for good, leaving Entua with her revenge but empty inside. Knowing that the army isn't strong enough, Haku asks Nozuri and Dogi's father for help. The princess forces tap Atui's homeland for further assistance, only to discover that Maroro is actively helping Raiko, one of the 8 generals of Yamato, that also plants a false Anju on the throne. Maroro is controlled by a parasite, making him believe that Toshitoru killed Haku, once again one of Raiko's tactics. After defeating one more hostile Yamato general, the Nakamui army marches toward Yamato. Haku and Mikazuchi have yet another showdown, and Haku barely scratches a victory. Upon reaching the doors to the capital, Haku has one last battle against Maroro, who reconciles with him but perishes due to the parasite's effects. Raiko taps the power of his mask, but is defeated and Anju finally sits on her throne. But the resolution of the story is still very far, as Haku has to think about the last will of his brother, the late Emperor of Yamato, of restoring humanity. Through what I think is a very convoluted revelation, the Emperor himself is still alive through artificial means, and Wosis, one of the 8 generals, is the true figure behind the coup, and declares himself the true successor to mankind. Wosis plans to succeed in the Emperor's will to restore humankind, but he needs the Master Key to enact his plan. The Master Key is held by Hakuoro, who lives in a secret location with Eruru.
どうしてここに大きくなりましたねクオン。母様こんなに大きくなったのにまだ甘えん坊なのね。だって母様急にいなくなって。
Wosis snatches the Master Key and proceeds to free an army of Tatari, humans turned into red blobs by a curse. Haku is forced to annihilate Yamato's capital with an orbital cannon, and ultimately staging the rebirth of Witsaruni Mitea's dark side in Wosis' body. Haku, once again drawing power from Oshitoru's mask, defeats Wosis and his identity is revealed to everyone just before dying. Once again, Kuon is thrown into despair, but this time she can't withstand the pain completely, and once again Witsarune Mitea is unleashed upon the world. In Limbo, Aku receives Hakuoro's mask, replacing him as a deity. Aku saves Kuon, but he and the 2 twins, Ururu and Sarana, disappear.
またみんなと一緒に。
Yamato and Tuskuru become allies, Hakuoro leaves his secret shrine along Eruru, and Aku visits Kuon one more time before taking his place as a deity.
ちょっと借りてくぞ。やっぱこれがないと手元が寂しくてな。
そっか。
The end. Did you listen to my recap? Well, whether you did or not, keep in mind that I've skipped on a lot of details. Futari no Hakuoro keeps filler to a minimum, and those 50+ hours taken by the game are either spent watching the story unfold or playing battles to progress through it. Futari not only ties all plot points opened in Utawarerumono no Kamen, but also has the distinction of giving closure to the first Utawarerumono's somewhat open ending. It must be said that I didn't like a few choices, like the convoluted explanation leading towards the final act or the many characters that just simply won't die to justify an epic conclusion. I mentioned this in the spoiler segment, but two plot points connected to the Uzurusha's invasion of Yamato back in Utawarerumono no Kamen don't really go anywhere. Especially in the beginning, Futari no Hakuoro is full of powerful scenes, mainly centered around Nekone and Aku falling in their new positions and trying to cope with losses, the present, and the future that lies ahead. Later the game settles for more quote-unquote normal drama and doesn't quite reach its opening moments. A lot of dialogues are extremely long and beat around the bush too much for their own good, but overall Futari no Hakuoro's story is far superior to Utawarerumono no Kamen because it doesn't just introduce characters and storylines, but actually develops them. It's very close to the first Utawarerumono. There are a lot of battles, mentions to the previous civilization, and otherworldly powers. The focus is more on the struggle for power over the throne of Yamato, but it's safe to say if you've liked the first Utawarerumono, you'll like this one as well. Story is not the only thing that improved in Futari no Hakuoro. The tactical parts are many more and more varied. The system is the same as always. Characters act based on their speed and all their actions can be made more effective by completing simple button inputs when the game asks you to. All characters starts from the very beginning even with a save from Utawarerumono no Kamen, but reach much higher levels thanks to the higher number of battles. Special attacks that would have triggered only during the last mission in Utawarerumono no Kamen are now available from around half of Futari no Hakuoro, and developers even added new combination attacks based on the meter characters build up when attacking or being attacked. Certain characters, like Anju and Munechika or Haku and Kuon, have their own special combination attacks for even more visual variety. Battles tend to be on the long side. Even cannon fodder soldiers might require 2 or 3 attacks to be taken down. Some later missions can last almost an hour, and the final battle in particular is almost 2 hours long. You can create temporary save points, but not a complete save. The difficulty in normal mode isn't particularly high, but there are some enemies that will drive the party to death, and losing progress in such long battles can be maddening. To remedy this, Aquaplus and Sting implemented 2 ways to restart after a game over. Restart the battle from scratch, keeping all the experience gathered in the previous attempt, or rewind the battle up to 50 turns ago and start from there. As a result of longer and more frequent battles, status changes like poison or stun are now more useful, although your party doesn't quite gain access to the most powerful afflictions. On the other hand, highly detrimental statuses like confusion are present only in the last missions, have a low chance of infliction, and last for about a turn only. Characters that had an active part in battles still get BPs at the end of it to enhance health, attack, defense, speed, or available equipment slots. All characters gain at least one level after a successful mission trying to keep everyone relevant, but the difference in BPs quickly makes the least favorite characters a lot less effective than the main party. Equipment takes the form of scrolls that bestow dodges, a second chance after getting killed, and so on. Scrolls are rewarded at the end of a mission and are of ever-increasing quality until the game ends. Futari no Hakuoro still offers the chance to replay past missions to rack up BPs, levels not so much, and 2 new game modes. The first offers a series of challenges where the game's crew is split in two and the team commanded by Aku must defeat the other. Maps in this mode are actually more varied and engaging than in the main game, and it's interesting to be on the receiving end of attacks you normally unleash upon enemies. The second is a tutorial of sorts, where Munechika will give a series of tasks, like defeating a dummy by hitting all the button inputs, defeating enemies in a certain order with certain characters, or placing characters in a way they'll execute a combination attack. Experience and BPs gained in these modes carry over the main game, though it's not necessary to clear these trials to steadily progress through it.
変身ありウルールとの呼吸を同調します。来たか。
Futari no Hakuoro's technical side is good enough, but hasn't really moved forward since its Utawarerumono no Kamen, which in itself was very close to Tears to Tiara 2. What's definitely better is that a lot of the story isn't simply carried by static portraits, but you actually see characters moving around and acting on the battlefield, which goes a long way in making the long story scenes more enjoyable. A lot of backgrounds have been reused from its Utawarerumono no Kamen, but of course there is a slew of new illustrations to behold. As usual, a gallery opens up while completing the game once, along a scene gallery, voice actor comments, and a New Game Plus mode. Futari no Hakuoro continues to be a fully voiced game, and I must applaud Keiji Fujiwara for his double role as normal Haku and Haku pretending to be Yoshitoru. Inori Minase, Nekone's VA, has some impressive moments as well. Returning cast members from Utawarerumono retains their original voice actors.
お姉ちゃん、いい匂いがするぞ。シノノンは目ざといの。クオンが作ったヨダケの特製実験じゃ。これで誰もがイチコロなんじゃぞ。神様の敵はすべて燃やすです。
Finally moving towards a conclusion of this review, I can say that Futari no Hakuoro is a huge improvement over its Utawarerumono no Kamen in every aspect, and a good game in its own right. Its battle sequences won't break any new ground, but it's clear that Aquaplus and Sting can merge storytelling and gameplay in a meaningful way if they want to.
無茶しすぎないでね。私がか弱いか確かめなさい。
I hope you have enjoyed this review and you stick around for more. Briareos Kerensky, over and out.
明日思うところがある。やわらかなもの、花、無心にして蝶を招き。
やってくれる。